Most people believe they know who they are. They believe their personality is stable. They believe their thoughts are chosen. They believe their actions are deliberate. But what if the version of yourself you recognize is only a fraction of what exists? What if beneath your carefully constructed identity lives another presence, silent, watching, waiting, not evil, not monstrous, but unfinished? And what if the more you avoid it, the stronger it becomes? There was a psychologist who spent his life studying this hidden side of human nature. He discovered that every person carries a psychological shadow, not as a metaphor, not as poetry, but as a real, measurable force inside the mind. His name was Carl Jung. Jung believed that much of human suffering does not come from external hardship. It comes from an internal refusal, a refusal to acknowledge what lives inside us. He warned that when a person refuses to face their shadow, they do not become pure. They become possessed by impulses they do not understand, reactions they cannot explain, patterns they swear they will change, but never do. This idea matters today more than ever, because modern culture encourages constant self-presentation. We curate identities, we perform versions of ourselves, we polish appearances, but we rarely ask a deeper question. What parts of me did I abandon in order to become acceptable? The shadow is formed the moment you learn that certain parts of you are not welcome. A child expresses anger and is told it is wrong. A child shows sensitivity and is shamed. A child feels envy, curiosity, aggression, desire, and quickly learns which emotions earn love and which do not. The unacceptable traits do not disappear, they descend, they move into the unconscious, and there they begin a different life. The shadow is not only made of darkness, it is made of everything you were never allowed to be. Your unexpressed strength, your suppressed assertiveness, your forbidden desires, your creative impulses that felt unsafe. The mind, in order to survive, splits. One part becomes the identity you present to the world. The other becomes the shadow. Jung did not describe the shadow as a moral category. He did not call it bad. He called it unknown. The danger does not come from having a shadow. The danger comes from pretending you do not. When a person refuses to acknowledge their shadow, it does not vanish. It acts autonomously. It expresses itself indirectly, through projection, through sabotage, through compulsions, through irrational emotional reactions. You see this when someone repeatedly claims to hate dishonesty, yet lies. When someone condemns selfishness, yet secretly feels entitled. When someone presents themselves as endlessly kind, yet harbors deep resentment. The shadow often wears the mask of virtue. The more a person insists they are only good, the more destructive their unconscious behavior becomes. This is because the psyche seeks balance. What is denied internally seeks expression externally. Jung observed that people are often most disturbed by traits they secretly possess. The person who cannot tolerate arrogance may struggle with their own unacknowledged pride. The person who despises manipulation may unconsciously manipulate. The person who is outraged by laziness may be repressing their own exhaustion. The shadow reveals itself through emotional intensity. If something provokes you far beyond reason, it is rarely about the other person. It is about what they awaken inside you. Another crucial aspect of the shadow is its relationship to power. Not power over others, but personal power. Many people were taught early in life that strength leads to rejection, so they learned to be agreeable. They learned to be harmless. They learned to shrink. Their capacity for assertiveness did not disappear. It became shadow. Later in life, this hidden power expresses itself sideways, through passive aggression, through bitterness, through secret fantasies of dominance, through attraction to authoritarian figures. When power is not integrated consciously, it emerges unconsciously, often in distorted forms. Jung believed that psychological maturity requires shadow integration, not shadow elimination. Integration means recognizing these hidden aspects without acting them out blindly. It means admitting, I am capable of cruelty, I am capable of selfishness, I am capable of deception, I am capable of hatred, not as confessions of guilt, but as acknowledgments of human reality. Paradoxically, when you accept these potentials, you become less likely to act them out, because what is conscious can be regulated, what is unconscious controls you. The shadow is also the source of creativity. Many people associate darkness only with destruction, but Jung observed that the shadow contains life energy, passion, originality, boldness. When people say they feel empty, lost or numb, they are often disconnected from their shadow. They have cut themselves off from their own depth. They live only in their persona. The persona is the social mask. It is who you are supposed to be. Productive, pleasant, stable. But a life lived only through the persona becomes thin, flat, mechanical. The shadow gives texture to existence. Without it, a person becomes hollow. Jung also warned that societies possess shadows, not just individuals. Entire cultures repress traits. Aggression becomes projected onto enemies. Greed becomes projected onto certain groups. Cruelty becomes justified through ideology. When a society refuses to face its shadow, it creates monsters. Not because monsters are born, but because they are manufactured through denial. On an individual level, ignoring the shadow leads to repeating life patterns, same relationship dynamics, same self-sabotage cycles, same inner conflicts, different faces, same story. People often ask why they keep attracting the same kind of partner. Jung would say, you are not attracting them, you are meeting yourself. Relationships act as mirrors. They reveal what you have not integrated. You fall in love not only with a person, you fall in love with the unconscious parts of yourself they carry. Likewise, intense dislike often signals shadow contact. Someone embodies something you disowned. Instead of recognizing it inwardly, you attack it outwardly. The shadow prefers to remain hidden. It resists exposure, because exposure threatens the identity you built to survive. Facing the shadow can feel like betrayal of who you thought you were. But Jung saw this confrontation as the beginning of real adulthood, not biological adulthood, psychological adulthood. It begins the moment you stop pretending to be only what is acceptable and start becoming what is real. Integration does not mean acting out every impulse. It means developing a relationship with your inner complexity. You observe your darker thoughts without obeying them. You admit uncomfortable truths without collapsing into shame. You stop trying to be pure. You start trying to be whole. Modern life offers endless distractions that help people avoid this work. Noise, entertainment, busyness, digital identities. Silence becomes uncomfortable. Stillness becomes threatening, because in silence, the shadow whispers. Most people spend their entire lives running from that voice. Jung believed this avoidance is the root of much modern anxiety, not external danger, internal division, a self at war with itself. When a person begins shadow work, subtle changes occur. They become less reactive, less performative, less desperate for approval. They no longer need to convince others who they are. They know. They have seen what lives inside. They have made peace with complexity. They understand that being human is not about perfection, it is about integration. The shadow never disappears, but it can become an ally, a source of strength, a reservoir of honesty. Jung once suggested that enlightenment is not achieved by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious, not dramatic, not mystical, simple, quiet, uncomfortable, necessary. You cannot escape your shadow, but you can meet it, and in meeting it you reclaim parts of yourself that were never broken, only buried. In the end, the greatest danger is not that darkness exists within you. The greatest danger is never discovering what else does.